Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and today we are doing a spring TBR slash my April TBR. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'm horrible at sticking to TBRs, like really bad. I'm a mood reader through and through, and I don't know why I continued to set TBRs for myself, but these are fun videos to make, and I'm actually participating in Old School April, which is a readathon slash watchathon hosted by Kelsi from Slime and Slashers here on YouTube. I am a part of the Candyman crew, if you can't tell. I'm wearing my Candyman shirt. Candyman is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I had to choose the best group. I'm also wearing my Goosebumps earrings because Old School April is a nostalgia-based readathon. It's also team-based. Obviously, I just said that I'm part of the Candyman crew. What I love about Old School April is that it's a very relaxed readathon. Like I just said, terrible at sticking to TBRs. So all the prompts have like nostalgic names, but you can totally read new releases, watch new movies. You can read whatever you want. And I love the flexibility. I love that I could mood read and then just see what prompts fit, which will probably be what I end up doing because, like I said, terrible at sticking to TBRs. So I'm so excited to be participating in Old School April. Also, I am a curveballer, so you might see me pop up if you're participating. All the information on Old School April linked down below. Please go check out Kelsi's channel if you are not already subscribed. She is an absolute angel. She's put so much dedication into this readathon and watchathon, and I just would love if everyone went and gave her support and participated if you want to. I just think it's gonna be so much fun, and Kelsi deserves just such a loving community around her. So yeah, definitely I'll have all the stuff linked down below if you want to check out all the information on Old School April and more of like the prompts and stuff like that. But yeah, just go follow Kelsi if you haven't already. But I'm just so excited. So some of these books I picked out like thinking about Old School April, and then some of them I picked out thinking that they just fit spring overall. Like the vibe just feels spring. That doesn't mean the books are set in spring. I just look at the book, look at the plot, and I'm like, that feels like spring. You know, this is gonna be a weird, random TBR, but I'm also making it a spring TBR because if I don't read all of these books in April, it's okay because spring isn't over at the end of April. So there's a little loophole that I'm bringing in. I gotta give myself a little bit of wiggle room to work with here. First up is a book that I was going to read in March, but I ran out of time, so I'm pushing it into April slash whenever I have time, and that is Wild Dark Shore. Everyone has been talking about this book. Everyone has been loving this book. Everyone has given it 5 stars. It makes me nervous, okay? Like, seeing a book this loved and this hyped it's making me nervous, so I'm very scared to pick it up. So this is about this little island called Shearwater where this woman mysteriously washes up on shore. And that's really all I know about this book. I've heard it's about climate change, and everyone has said really great things about it. It kind of, I don't know, it feels spring-y to me. Anything with water or like rain either screams fall or spring to me. So, or summer, I guess, because like pools and stuff. But anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know, it felt spring-ish. This book doesn't really scream spring, but I want to read The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book in the Poppy War series. I just read the Poppy War in March and I want to continue the series, and I didn't have time in March, so I'm going to move it into April and continue on until I finish it because I really want to continue the series, and I'm on a fantasy journey. If you remember from my last reading vlog or several videos, I feel like I've talked about my reading journey in 2025 involving fantasy, but yeah, I'm in the middle of the Poppy War and I'm really enjoying it, so I want to read book 2. An arc that I really want to get to in April or spring is Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. Yeah, this is not your video. I love you. We have an intruder. I don't know what to do about it right now. She wants to be here. So this comes out in June, the 24th of June. I don't know much about it, but Lisa Jewell is one of my favorite thriller authors, and I will read anything she writes. So I'm very excited to give this new one a read. Again, no idea what it's about, but it's Lisa Jewell, so that excites me. Another arc is Our Last Wild Days by Anna Bailey. This one's coming out the 20th of May. So the reason I picked this one is because this takes place in like a swampy area, and when I think of April or spring, I think of earthy and wet, and swamp made me think of that, so I don't know, I added this to my TBR pile. So this is about the main character who goes back to her hometown after a decade, and she had a falling out with her best friend, but when she arrives back in her hometown, her best friend is found like dead from this weird accident, and she does not believe it was an accident. It's too suspicious, so she goes on this journey to uncover what really happened to her friend. I'm planning a reading new horror releases very soon, and one of the books that I really want to read is The Unworthy by Augustina Bastarrica. I loved Tender as the Flesh, absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite horror novels to this day, and I am just really excited to see what else this author writes. Because I like going into books blind, especially books that I'm going to read for vlogs, I just feel like it makes a reading vlog more exciting if I don't really know what to expect when I'm reading these books. I don't know much about this one. I know that it's about a mysterious convent, and I think that's all I really know. I don't know, it looks very short. I haven't heard too much about this one, honestly. I don't know what people are saying. I don't know if people are really liking it. I don't know if people are really disliking it, but this one I'm hoping to read for April, and it's Ruin Road by Lamar Giles. And the reason I picked this one for Old School April is because I'm pretty sure I said this when I hauled it, but it reminds me of the Goosebumps book, Be Careful What You Wished For. As you know, when you make a wish in like a movie or a book, there's always a catch, and that's what happens to our main character in this one. He feels like people just act too scared of him, so he wishes that people will stop feeling so scared, and I guess it's going to turn into a much different kind of wish than he expected. But again, it reminds me of that Goosebumps book, and I feel like it ties in that nostalgia aspect, so I thought it would be perfect for Old School April. Then I have Moth Eater by Linda H. Kodega, I think is how you pronounce this author's name. The cover really screams April. I mean, it could be April or like fall actually, now that I'm looking at it, because there are some like reddish leaves, but I don't know, I looked at it and said, yes, I want to read this for April or for spring. It just feels, it feels right in my soul. Watch this book be set in fall though, but that's okay, that's okay. It's about vibes. It doesn't have to be accurate, it's about vibes. So I believe this is like a horror fantasy set in the Appalachian, and it's queer, it's got witchy aspects, and it also involves the coal industry, which sounds very intriguing. It doesn't feel like it's too long either, so I feel like it might be a really interesting and quick read. This book is on my 25 for 2025, and it's Mina and the Cult by Amy McCaw. This is the last book in the Mina series, and I've been putting it off. I'm really sad, but this is a very nostalgic series. It takes place in the 90s. It's got like old school horror references. It's got a lot of vampire references. It's a lot of fun. It's a YA like horror romance. It's got vampires. It's really exciting. I know that it doesn't necessarily fit spring, okay? I know that that doesn't really make sense, but I think it'll be a very, very, very perfect read for old school April. And I've been putting this book off because I don't want to see this series end. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it'll just make sense. So I'm adding it to the TBR. If I'm being honest, this next book is a book that I am not sure I will actually read. I want to read it, and it's been on my TBR for a while, but I am nervous that I won't actually read it, even if I'm including it in here, and that is Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It takes place in the 90s. It has to do with a cursed film. I loved Mexican Gothic by this author, okay? Loved Mexican Gothic by this author. I don't know why I'm putting this one off. I think it's because it's supposed to be more historical than horror from what I've heard. So I think I'm just a little bit nervous for this one. But I've heard good things. I don't know, there's something about me that's putting it off. Will I actually read this? I don't know. But I'm putting it on the TBR, so we'll see. I thought this one just sounded like a lot of fun, and it's This Girl's a Killer by Emma C. Wells. This is about a woman who kills bad men. It really reminded me of They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, which I absolutely love. I love books about women that are murderers. I think it's really entertaining and really fun, and I like when they get bad men. So I think this sounds right up my alley. It seems a little bit long, but chapters seem fairly short, so I don't think it'll actually be that long of a read once I get started, and I think it'll just be more of a lighthearted book that will break up some of the more intense reads that I have lined up. I can't really explain why this book makes me think of spring, but it just does, and that's Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. This is like a Greek mythology story. It says it's set in the world of ancient Greece and told through the eyes of its most notorious heroine. This is a thrilling tale of power and prophecies of hatred, of love, and of an unforgettable queen who fiercely dealt out death to those who wronged her. Again, strong women. I think it just makes sense. Something about the cover really said spring to me, so I don't really know what that's about. But I'm very excited to read this, and I think it'll be fun. This one I thought would also fit old school April really well, and it's Honey by Isabel Banta. I'm not really sure. This is a coming of age story following this pop star in the 90s and 2000s, and it just really reminded me of Britney Spears. When I read the plot, I was like, oh, it's gonna give Britney vibes, how fun. So I think this will be very cool, very like nostalgic. Since I did grow up during that time, it just will probably remind me of my childhood. So I think it'll be a lot of fun, and again, a different read than some of the other books to kind of break up everything that I'm reading, give myself a break in between like horror and Greek mythology and thrillers, like kind of just space everything. So I think this will be a fun book to break things up. One book I'm really, really excited about, and I had to include it in this TBR, is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I've seen so many people talking about this book. I think it is so freaking beautiful. Like, this book is stunning. I love the sprayed edges. Like, I just think this book screams spring. I don't know if that's because of like the earthy vines, plants, flowers. I don't know. I mean, it could also be a fall type of book. I'm not really sure. It actually might be set in fall, to be fair. So it either could be a fall book or a spring book. Like I said, spring and fall, it really it's just a slight difference sometimes between these books. So this one kind of just felt like it would be fun to read during spring. I really like the look of it. This is also queer. I also believe it's about something lurking in the forest. I haven't been paying attention to much about this book because I just want to experience it for myself, but it is YA and I've heard great things. People are loving this one. So I'm really, really excited. I think it's going to be one of the first books I read off of this TBR. If I'm honest, I feel like this one will just get read faster. So I'm very, very excited about this one. I believe several of you have commented in my comments telling me that I'll really, really like this book too. So this one I believe I hauled recently. It's also another ARC, and it's Boca. I don't know why this one also screams fall, no. I don't know why this one also screams like spring to me, because it doesn't look like spring at all on the cover, and I don't know when it takes place, but for some reason I was like, this is a book I want on my spring TBR. All I know about this one is it's for fans of Mexican Gothic and The Shining, which sounds incredible because I really enjoyed Mexican Gothic and I love The Shining, the book. I don't really like the movie, but the book, really love. So I'm very excited. There's supposed to be like family secrets. Look, it sounds good. It's also pretty short, I think. So, you know, a quick little fun read I think will be good. So I don't know, I just added it to the TBR. Those are all the books that I put on my spring and April TBR. Will I get these all read? Who really knows? Will I read completely different books than this? Possibly. I'm sure there are other books that I really want to read, like fantasy and horror, and I know I have some videos planned, so there are other books that I'm gonna be pulling in to add to those videos, like for padding, but you know, maybe with my TBR slasher video I can try to pick from this stack to make it a little bit more possible that I finish this TBR. But yeah, that's it. So let me know what you are going to be reading for spring or April. Let me know if you are participating in Old School April. I would love to see you there. Maybe join the Candyman crew, the best team, if I do say so myself, because I'm on it. Let me know if you are going to join. I would love to know what you're planning on reading, what you're excited to watch, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books, or you're excited, or you are also reading any of these books. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this TBR, even though I don't typically stick to them, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, some fantasy, some sci-fi, some all over the place stuff, because my reading taste is changing daily. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!